Hello guys, this is the first video in RayFire bullet engine overview, the new bullet engine which we added in build 1.81. And this is not a tutorial about creating some exact effect. I will just show you the interface. I'll talk about features and show you how to use them. And the first thing I will need to do is to create actual RayFire bullet object. This is the first element. There is also modifiers, but let's start with the object. So this is the object which you should use to start simulation and define objects which you want to simulate. So here is the first list, simulated objects. To add it, you need to click to this big node button, and then select the object which you want to simulate, or you can add them using this list. Okay, now after your object selected, all of them get this RayFire rigid modifier, and now you can basically start simulation. So next rollout is this world rollout, and the first group of properties is this properties group. And here you can define stuff like size of this helper, time scale, which you can animate to create some bullet time effect, and the substeps property. I suggest you to use stuff value like 10. Gravity, you can define gravity here. Also, there is a gravity subobject node. This bullet, you can rotate it to define gravity direction. And this ground checkbox, it allows you to use this plane, this helper plane, this rectangle, as simulated as a static plane. So you don't have to create some box to your object to fall on it. You can use just this plane and turn on this ground checkbox. Also keep in mind that if you will start your simulation and your plane will be upper than object, you will see something like this. You see it pushes all the objects upper than this plane. So if you see something like this, you know how to fix it. Just move it lower. Okay, next group of properties is this simulation group, and here are these three spinners which allows you to define the timeline of your simulation: start, end range. You can set value to, let's say, 15 to start, and you can see it updated this range value, so you can increase your end and it will update range, or you can change range and it will update your end frame. So let's set here, let's say 80. And finally, there are 4 modes which you can use to create simulation, and every mode has its own specialization. I will show you just range and loop. In other videos you will be able to see how to use quiet and relax mode. In this one I will just show you the range and loop. So range is a mode which you should use when you are happy with all your properties. So you just need to create your final simulation. You just start range, hit the range, it creates simulation, and when it's done, okay. Now, so here's your simulation, and all the animation is baked into this rigid modifier. So you can see this rock has keyframe animation, which I used to throw it. And if we will turn off rigid modifier, you can see that your animation is still here. So you don't lose anything like in previous build. It just simulates object on top of this keyframe animation. And loop mode is the mode which you should use to set up your simulation. In this mode, I will decrease substeps to make simulation faster. Let's say 4, and start loop mode. So in this simulation, it simulates simulates simulation. In loop mode, it just start over when it's done. It just reset all animation and start again. So on this mode, we can change all your properties and see how this changes your simulation. You can set different gravity, different substeps, time scale, whatever, and change some modifier properties like friction, and well, do whatever you want. Change demolition properties. I'll show you later all this stuff. And as you can see, it will just start over and over again and again until you will be happy. So if you will uncheck a loop until the simulation will be finished, you just will get unfinished simulation. And in this case, it's better if you're okay with your simulation step, you can just click on range. And in this case, it will just simulate till the end and uncheck it itself, and your simulation is ready. And so that's all. There is also the supporting rollout. In this list, you can add right now only forces to use them during simulation. There is also global advanced rollout. I will talk about it later as well. It's global because every modifier has its own advanced rollout, and if you can, by default, Bullet Engine uses this global advanced properties, but in case you want to use some specific uh, advanced properties for some specific object, you can override here and then set them as you want. But by default, they are off, and I suggest you not to change them in case you don't need to. So I guess that's all about this RayFire Bullet object. In other videos, you will be able to see how to use quiet relax mode. Okay, that's enough with it one.